We'll be back from the break. It's 7 minutes past 9. Still driving business here on Smart 24 TV as we deliver to you, of course, the latest information regarding business-related matters. Now heading straight into our business insight this morning. But before we get there, don't forget to trade markets on the Zabo platform, definitely, which have already opened as I speak right now. Just simply dial *292# which is the code for you, as you'll be able to access quite lots of options where you'll be able to buy government bonds and securities for as little as 15,000 Ugandan shillings. But of course, you can still choose to buy more if you feel you can choose to invest more, but 15,000 is the minimum requirement. Now, markets opening at 8:15 and they close at 3:15 p.m. East African time, effective Monday up to Friday, except on the weekends and the public holidays when you can access this market. But at least you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make quite a profit for you there, and life will be made much more easy. Something very crucial when it comes to offsetting your trade deficits which you might have incurred throughout the week. Now, Zabo simply says, my money, my future, and Altex East Africa says, do something new. Well, yesterday on our developing story, we had a discussion regarding hotel owners, of course, getting in touch with a fintech organization, something which quite lots were shared as a result of that meeting. Of course, it's still in relation to what we have been discussing earlier about the fintech and cashless payments. But now this time around, taking a look at the hotel industry, to what extent are they embracing the cashless payments, and where is it heading towards the hotel industry? As we know, they have quite a story to tell for the last 2 years, something which has not been quite commendable. And the association owners have always been sitting down to make sure that they try to get matters, sit down and find solutions to avert the long-term impact of the pandemic. Joram, this is quite historical, the hotel industry, to the extent, I know the banks are already in there. They were the first to get onto this trend. Yeah. Now we are seeing hotels embracing the cashless payments, and I would also accompany that with a report which was released in February 21st, as hoteliers were to shift focus to online marketing as the 2023 resolution. Mm-hmm. When you look at that, I think this is one of the strategies to see that that is a success to some extent.
It's using very valid examples.
Yeah.
You've worked in a hotel before, right?
Very. I've worked there.
So, and I've worked into a service sector, let's say retail, before. And amongst the examples I would wish you to use for now is for people who used to pay using cards, the Visa cards. How effective was it?
Actually, honestly, at the time when I was there, no one used them. I think the cashless aspect hadn't yet been embraced as such. Majority, the best they could do if they had to use cashless is mobile money.
Good. Now, you see, the issue currently happening is the use of Visa cards, for example. Let me just give an example of the use of Visa cards. If, for example, you have a Visa card of any bank, name it, be it APSA, Stanbic, Equity, Centenary, any, and then you happen to go to the point of sale machines, especially, let's say in hotels, you've seen restaurants whereby they will give you a machine, you swipe your card. So there is something about swiping a card and a Visa. Now, for example, if a bank has its own powered machine, for example, I do know of some banks that already have their machines at the points of sale. For those who actually go to petrol stations, you can easily see there is a machine that may be having APSA, it may be having, it may have Standard Chartered or anything. Now, there are platforms that power these machines. Now, that means every time you're paying, every transaction you make, it goes both ways. But that platform itself is supposed to charge a fee, which is not too much. And then also, because it's a platform that is aiding a service, so it has to charge. Then also the bank has to charge its fee for your withdrawal. Remember, every time you withdraw, whether it's a card, it's either 200 shillings or 1,000 Ugandan shillings, depending on the bank that you're using. So why you have actually mentioned the fact that even during COVID, not many people were into the use of cashless or using go cashless platforms, and rather would prefer use of mobile money as the cashless.
Money, yes.
But also there are very few people who are using mobile money because of the fact that before the Momo Pay came in, where you pay the exact amount, some business owners wanted you to pay using, you pay and add withdrawal charges.
Withdrawal charges.
For example, if you're going to pay for a hotel room which is 300,000, someone will tell you add withdrawal charges. That means you'll pay 305,000 or even 310,000 because they have to withdraw. So in the long run, it was less effective for the customer. That is why most Ugandans chose not to move into the payment of, that to embrace that cashless agenda. And besides that, now when it comes to the hotel industry, you've mentioned the fact that hoteliers decided that it's better to now choose the
going online.
Exactly.
Online marketing.
Yeah, you go online, use cashless.
That means you can even book a room and pay in advance before you.
Now we have issues with the fact that hoteliers in Uganda have always been having people coming in, a tourist books a hotel. After booking the hotel from abroad, for example, from the UK, they are booking a hotel in Uganda. At times they send money via the transfer. The transfer platforms that are quite many. Others pay using banks and everything. So that, and at times this manual process seems to be, a little costly, or it is actually more, it takes a lot of time to process everything because it's so manual and everything. But with the cashless situations, you're booking via a platform, a payment platform, and then after, that means the bank will just, rather the hotel administrator or whatever is in charge of the bookings will just go into the transactions of the platform, visit, see how much you've deposited, prepare your room. Once you land into the country, it is good to go. And I think that is the advantage when it comes to the cashless system in hotel and lodges and the hospitality sector.
Yeah, quite very commendable. And I've also, I used to witness that a lot. There are moments whereby quite so many clients come in and they make orders, and some of them were actually foreigners. It was foreign-owned hotel. True. And they could call their people to come in here, come to work in Uganda, and they have to find where to sleep. So you find there are lots of people coming in, and there are also, as much as people are booking here, there is somebody coming asking for the same room, but with cash at hand. You see that? And now you're caught betwixt of this person called me and told me that I'm booking this room. But now this person has come and I have the cash. But if you had booked online and paid, that I would consider that paid money, right? So do you see the convenience that comes in? It makes it even easy, because if you give me a call and you told me, even though you came to me and you told me that, I tell you that the rooms are booked. Some people may say, but I have cash for you right now. I would feel offended to say that, because booking and you've not paid, and somebody comes and he has money, you think twice, at some point, because you know how the money, the business works. But if somebody has booked on an online platform, he has deposited money on an online platform, you have no audacity to give out their room, and they have whatever it takes to sue you, other than having this verbal contract communication that book me a room, and I say yes. Yeah, we talked, but did you pay? What shows that actually you booked that room? But at least with the online strategy, the evidence that you booked the room is the deposit that you put outside. So those were quite some of the tricky situations which were experienced, but all that trying to look at the online aspect. How advantageous it will make it easy that I can come to your hotel, I see the rooms are empty, but they're paid.
Yeah.
Somebody booked and have the money. It's not just verbally that keep for me this room number, this I'm coming, but the money is actually there. So the hotel industry, of course, now we're heading into the discussion to see what really transpired yesterday in the meeting, of course, regarding the hotel sector adopting the cashless payments. Let's get into this.
Digital payments enable businesses to accept digital payments, which is a trend in the financial services industry that is, has gone global quite frankly. The hospitality industry is a global industry, and so it was a perfect fit with our kind of solutions, because tourists, when they're coming to Africa, they expect the same experience they've got in their home countries to be the same as what they get in their destination markets. So we're able to give hotels and tour operators the ability to accept payments through their websites, which is really, at that time, was amazing, because most people are receiving payments through bank transfers. Bank transfers was a manual process. It was tedious, prone to fraud and all that stuff. So since the time we introduced our services, we've seen a growth curve in our customer acquisition, and many customers are happy with what we do. Eventually, we decided to bring on board solutions like ReservePort. ReservePort came on board around 2016, 2017, the booking engine that enables hotel owners to accept bookings online. Later on, we introduced the point of sale machine, the PDQ, which is doing very well. I think it's the fastest growing PDQ in the market right now. And there's a lot of collaboration happening within the industry around this solution. And so, we're happy where we are, but we're not yet where we want to be. And so that's why we have functions, events like these, to meet more people, to educate them about what's going on in technology, and to onboard them as customers. First thing that you look at if you're in this business, the security of information, the security of money, the security of the entire transaction end to end. So we've, as we mentioned earlier, we have partnered with a company called CyberSource, which is an advanced fraud detection engine that tracks thousands of variables to flag suspicious transactions. And I'll tell you that in the industry, we know for a fact that we have the lowest incidence of fraud and abuse of card payments. So that's something that comes from our partnership with CyberSource. But we're also PCI SS compliant at the highest level. So we've invested heavily in security, not just using those engines, but also training our staff on how to manage risk. So we have an entire risk department that handles suspicious transactions, handles cyber security, and I must say we have a very low incidence of abuse. Now, in the last 10 years, we've not experienced adverse security issue within a customer, and you've been hearing some of the feedback. We might have had a few challenges in certain areas, whether it is response times and so on, but never have we ever had an issue with security of our platform. So our platform is solid, and customers who come on board should rest assured that they're getting the best in terms of security, not just money but also data. The digitalization of the economy, digitalization of our lives, efficient, it's effective, and provides a much better customer experience. So, but technology, diffuses slowly sometimes, and so you have the early adopters of technology, you have the late adopters, and you have the laggards. Now, a lot of it comes down to awareness. A lot of people are not aware. That's why we have events like this to tell people, look, it's really well. The event is about pitching personal solutions and services which are fantastic, but also it's about educating the industry to tell them what are the trending issues in the hotel industry, and one of them, top of mind, should be technology. So as more people get aware of the value of applying technology and going digital, the more will come on board, because they want to remain competitive. Because clearly, if you want to send an email right now and you're sending it through the post office rather than sending by email, if you want to send a message and send by post office or email, that really determines the difference between what is possible and what you're doing. So we've seen a lot of adoption, and you've seen some of the questions there have to do with, is it safe? Does it work? How does it work? etc. So a lot of education has to go on. Mobile money has helped us, I must say, because when you say mobile money was also very low, because mobile money was launched in Kenya about 2009. That's 2007 actually in Pesa, but it didn't take off well in Uganda, for instance, until the mid-20s. But now with people understanding how mobile money works, that you can send and receive and do things in the digital space. Of course, smartphones also, the emergence of smartphones has also helped a lot. So people are kind of like, they are no longer technophobic. They appreciate technology, and we're seeing a lot of business now jumping straight in to learn and apply these solutions to their businesses. And we've seen really a growth in inquiries, a growth on onboarding, and this is what we're looking forward to in the future.
Interesting aspects in here. That is the hotel industry, the rate at which they're adapting the cashless payments. And I think this is going to be very revolutionary with the growth of our fintech at the same time. And sometimes the growth of one sector can be dependent on another, because once, sometimes some of these fintech personnel ask themselves, we are developing this, but whom are we developing this for? So as we see this coming up, this is a market, so that means regardless if you're having your startup and all it needs to be is rightly incubated, and of course the Ministry of ICT is doing that through the various hubs which it's establishing. So that means there is market for the fintech. They already have the hotelians coming on board, and I know soon, in a few months from now, we shall see other sectors joining the lead, of adapting cashless payments. And this will be once these people are available to pay, depending on how the charges that are offered there. Well, I think the fintech developers have business here to execute.
I think it's first of all, how are they going to adapt to the new technology? Are they willing to accept the cashless? Okay, they will wish to go with cashless, but are the customers ready? Are the clients ready to go in for this? Yes, because that is something that we need to have in our mind, is that with time, you can easily get in a situation where customers are willing to go cashless, but are they willing to accept the platforms available?
They will, because I feel like with as they come up on board, I feel they will be in position, because not so many people know actually about, are exposed about these platforms. So if I come to an individual X, I tell them, you know what, pay when you're paying.
You have to convince a Ugandan, by the way.
You convince them, but if I come to you, like if you come to my hotel.
For foreign tourists, maybe it is easy. They are used to these bookings and everything. But the Ugandan way is, I come to the hotel today, I want to sleep, I have my cash with me, I'm paying direct cash.
Because now me, if you come to my hotel and you tell me you have to pay cash, I simply tell you, pay through this platform. I mean, it's up to you to argue, but I tell you that's the policy. And do you remember when we are switching to the digital?
The digital wave, even digital migration in television as well. Exactly. I think it also took another twist, not until government decided just one good day to turn off all the channels.
Exactly.
And everyone was just forced directly to switch to digital.
So do you see that sometimes policies, if we want to see the future, now even the statistics we looked at the fintech, for it to be a reality, there will have to be some aggressive tactics that the government has to employ. Otherwise, if we say that, if you feel like, do it. But of course, people, as we are forcing them head down.
Maybe by the look of things, we are likely to reach a situation where governments will stop printing money. Whereby we shall immediately switch to
that. Even when I'm buying a tomato, I have to transact, and you have your money. I mean, you have it.
True.
It's there. Actually, that's a good idea. The government should stop printing money as one of the ways to, and the scarcity, and before you know it, it's off.
So that we use cards and mobile apps.
But we need to, first of all, ensure safety of the people's money. Because if people here can rob your wallets, now we shall be having people robbing your wallets online.
True.
That will be so common if you're not vigilant. So I believe I think every year there is a cybersecurity awareness week organized by some cybersecurity companies. I think this should be, as we are getting ready for this, these should be some of the lectures that should be given out there to people, how to safeguard their money.
True.
You know, and I think the government should also invest more money in training cybersecurity professionals. They shall be good to go. I would also feel free,
True.
you know, to keep my money there. Well, that is very interesting. I don't know what you think. Hit us up on our social media handles of this discussion regarding the hotels adapting to the cashless payments, and also what sectors you really think should adapt to this. And as a customer, are you willing to entirely go digital, you know, whereby you don't hold cash any longer? Do you think it's something very viable? Well, you can get back to us on our Twitter as we in the comment sections as we keep rolling these discussions right here for you. Well, 28 minutes past 9, and now let's get into the commercial break. Of course, we shall be returning to wrap up the entire week. What's been happening, and